Welcome to the Coffee Clutch, a social gathering for good conversation over a cup of coffee. Grab your cup. Let's get started. Now, today's old saying is very different than any I've done before. And in fact, it is a saying that was sent to me by a viewer. And I thought that was kind of fun. And so I decided I would do it as one of my videos. This is not a saying that I used in my conversation with my children or friends, but yet it is one I've heard. And so I thought it was rather interesting. And the saying is this: religion was invented when the first con man met the first fool. In reviewing or researching, this saying is attributed to Mark Twain. And my research is not something that you would really hang your hat on, so to speak. Or rather, I put the saying in, Google brings something up, and I look to see what they say. Now, what was interesting to me was I was noticing that it was attributed to Mark Twain, but I never saw where it was written or when he said it. And then I went to a site called zebrafactcheck.com, and they fact check different old sayings. And interestingly enough, they came to the conclusion that this was not a saying said by Mark Twain. And in fact, they come to the conclusion that in 2009, a California school teacher, James Corbet, lost a suit filed by a former student alleging that Corbet violated the Establishment Clause of the Constitution with comments disparaging religion. The court found Corbet guilty of that violation with respect to only one statement. The one of Corbet's statements represents the origin of the bogus quotation of Mark Twain, and the statement that Corbet made was that religion was invented when the first con man met the first fool. This particular teacher attributed the quote to Mark Twain, and it became a more popular quote apparently after that point in time, without any notation as to where Mark Twain had made the comment. But that aside, the comment is still out there. The saying is out there, not so terribly old after all, but it's one worth considering because it's very clever, it's very witty, very catchy, which sayings are meant to be. As I said, they are meant to distribute this idea of wisdom in a very short phrase, a couple of sentences. And so this one, of course, sounds like it is quite wise. Now, I'm here at the Coffee Clutch just to kind of enjoy some of the old sayings and bring them to people's attention because again, like I've said, they have a lot of wisdom in a short sentence. They're great to use with children. They can teach great lessons. And so this is not really a scholarly insight into or research into these sayings. But my reaction to this particular saying is that while I would agree that there are circumstances and situations in which that very thing has occurred, of course people have been swindled out of money in the name of religion by con artists. But those who truly believe in what they're teaching are not con artists. They could be incorrect, but that doesn't make you a con artist. And so it's very, very dangerous, I think, to apply this saying in general to religion. And I can't speak to all religions. I happen to be Catholic, and as a Christian, I can speak to that faith. I can't speak to all others, and only to the extent that in Christianity and in the Bible, because this particular person mentions the Bible when we were having our little conversation, in the Bible you have these men, the apostles, who give up their lives for what they believe to be the truth. Con artists know that what they're saying is not the truth. And con artists don't give up their lives for the con because they know it's not true. They're in on the con. That doesn't mean people have not, for the sake of religion, committed mass suicides. We know there have been different cults that have done that. I don't know enough about those cults as to what would have driven them to do such things. But that doesn't make them a con. It may make them not well educated or well informed, or it may have ultimately been their belief, but that doesn't make them a con. So the statement that religion was formed by con artists, at least with respect to Christianity and going back to the time of the apostles, I just don't even think makes any sense. These men, these apostles, were martyred. People aren't willing to be crucified upside down as some of them were, or jailed, or what other horrible forms of death and torture that they received. They don't do that to continue a con. You just don't do that. You do it because you sincerely and genuinely believe. Now, whether you think they were right or wrong in their genuine belief is a whole nother story, but they are not con artists. And then to go into, and I want to make sure I quote it correctly, when the first con man met the first fool. I don't really know what it is about people who don't believe in God that makes them assume somebody is a fool simply because they search for truth, simply because they search for the meaning of life, simply because they search to find and understand and know and love their Creator. It doesn't seem like a foolish journey. Now, maybe they would say, well, those aren't foolish questions, but to then join a religion, that's what makes them a fool. Well, we'd have to get deep into the particular religion that we're talking about. Again, as a Christian, I don't see anything particularly foolish about recognizing that we are created. There's nothing scientific that when one says, well, I'm very scientific and very pragmatic, and so I believe in the Big Bang Theory, for instance. Well, at some point, the material world had to come into being because scientifically, the science that we know, something doesn't come from nothing. It's not very scientific to suggest that something, the material world, just poofed into existence from nothing. We don't have any science that supports that idea. And so, sometimes it might be terminology or vocabulary that separates us. We would say there is a primary mover. That primary mover is God. Now you get into, I like when people will say, well, prove that there's a God. Well, proof, I'm not sure exactly what people want with respect to proof. If I walked into a clock shop and I saw a bunch of clocks, I think that would be pretty good proof that there's a clockmaker somewhere. Maybe he's out to lunch, maybe he's not here, maybe he's retired and left a shop full of clocks. I don't know, but there must have been a clockmaker somewhere. And when I look around the world and I see people and the beauty of the creation, the order, the incredible order in this creation on this earth is inexplicable, really. And because of that, I think it's rather self-evident that there was a creator. So I don't really understand the I don't believe in God thing. Some all-powerful being created this. And maybe that's all the more a person believes in, and so be it. But there are those of us who believe beyond that. And then you get into this idea that yes, there is a creator, and yes, that creator looks to reveal himself to us. And he revealed himself to us in Jesus Christ, true God and true man. None of that's very foolish to me. Now, there would be those who would say, but you don't need a church. You know, when we talk about religion, we're not talking about beliefs. We're talking about a church. And why would you go to church? And why would you give them money? And you're a fool for giving away your money. It's much better to keep your money and then keep your belief to yourself. I don't know why you want to keep your belief to yourself. That might be a different conversation and a different old saying. I think you want to share that belief. I think you want to go out and celebrate with people. And we do celebrate on Sundays. We worship our God. And all of that is actually very logical once you recognize that you have a creator. That creator has revealed himself to you. And that you want to share the beauty of that revelation. I don't see anything particularly foolish about it. So, as far as this saying goes, first of all, I'm not really sure who said it. I don't know that that's necessary that we know. It doesn't necessarily give it more or less validity. But I don't think the saying really holds water if you really dissect it and delve into what this person was trying to relay. Again, just to reiterate what I said at the beginning, certainly there are circumstances in which this would be apropos, but by and large, I don't see religion as a con over the fool. So I hope you will like this. I hope you subscribe. If you have an old saying that you like and you would like to kind of have a little conversation about it, feel free to send it to me. Love to look at what other people are thinking about. Enjoy your day and enjoy that cup of coffee.